Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in to another episode here. My name is Dominic and I am the host of the Android Factory. In the last episode we went ahead and implemented this little drawer layout into our app. We actually connected it up to our nav graph here, so we can see all characters is selected because it is a different color. But if we select all episodes here, we go to another page. At the moment this is implemented as a fragment and a very basic one that we can see. But nonetheless we actually have this up and running. It is connected to our single activity architecture, the navigation components from the Jetpack library. So pretty interesting stuff that we've made so far, and I'm actually really enjoying how it's coming out. So in today's episode, I want to expand a little bit on this drawer layout here. It's pretty basic, it's pretty simple, but with just a little bit extra work here, we can kind of spruce this up a bit and make it look a whole lot more involved and a little bit more professional. So let's jump right into it. So right off the bat here, we see that it's literally just text. We can simply add a little bit of an image here or a little bit of an icon to each of these menu items very easily here in our XML. So if we flip over to our XML here that I have, the menu drawer layout, again, this is the menu that is being inflated inside of our drawer layout. We actually have an attribute on here called icon. And I've gone ahead off camera and just pulled in some icons. I'll show you them in a second here, but for characters we're going to use this people icon, and for the episodes we're also going to use a different episode icon here. But just so there's not too much wavy hand magic going on here, there is a resource manager panel on the side here that you can click, and in here you can see all of your resources. They didn't, this one, the episode and the people one didn't exist previously, but we hit this little plus, we select our vector asset, and then we can very easily click this little clip art if we don't have anything to import, and then we can search through here to see all of the material theme, all of the Google supported icons. They have a few different variants here, whether they're outlined or rounded or two-toned here. As you can see, like the TV has a little bit of a background there. So it's really nice, it's really easy to get nice assets involved into your project, all built into Android Studio. And I think I covered that in a previous video. If I did, I will link a card in the top right now so you can get a little bit more info on it if you are interested. But it is pretty straightforward here, and as you can see here, with a one line, we just add in our different drawables that we've put into the project. I'm going to go ahead and rerun this application now, and when we see it launch back up, we should have an icon associated with each element, and perfect. We can see that the unselected one stays this black neutral color along with this text, and then the selected one here is purple, which is wonderful here. So if we just go ahead and select the other one, you can see how that works. So outside of this, there's something that I really enjoy inside these drawer layouts that I think adds another element or another layer to it. And that is the idea of having these different groups that are added in. So I'm going to go ahead and modify this layout file, then we're going to talk about it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this here, but what we've done is added a few different layers to this menu file, and we'll see how the application reacts accordingly here. So if we open up this drawer layout again, we can now see that there are little subheaders and little sections within this UI here, and it's quite easy to see how this transitioned over, but I'm going to cover it right now for you. So inside of our menu, we can go ahead and add particular items, and like we had it before, these items here just translated directly into, you know, the little rows that we see there. But if we add an item, we can give it a title. In this case, we gave it characters. And then on the inside of this item, we've now created another menu. And then within that menu, we've created a group. And then within this group here, we can paste, you know, as many items as we would want to basically group them all, and they will all show up under this particular group. I'm just going to delete this here, but you can see here the little title up here says characters, and that's where this information is coming from. And then we have just our little element underneath it that we know and that we built out in the last episode here. Then we kind of get this nice little treatment where inside of the different groups we get this little divider that comes about. So we now kind of separate our UI a little bit, and we can provide a nice little separation of like items. Whoops, sorry about that. Of like items here inside of our layout. So the navigation still works, however, it seems to be a little bit broken here as far as the element is not really selected in the UI here that reflects what exists in this layout here. So we can go ahead and set a checkable behavior on our group here, and we're going to leave it to single. And then we're going to do this for both of our groups. If we go ahead and rerun this here, we should now see that the actual element, when you click it, gets the treatment of being selected. However, if we noticed when we first ran the app, it was not selected right off the bat, right? So if we kill this app really quickly and we open it back up, we'll see that there is obviously this main fragment, the character list fragment that we have loaded up here, but then when we open this panel here, we don't really have anything selected even though there technically is. So there's a little bit of a disconnect here, and I looked around for a good solution or a good reasoning as to why, and I'm just thinking that it's because the Jetpack navigation library works properly, at least right off the bat, checking for the top level items and their IDs. Remember, the fragment that we actually have here is this ID that is selected in our nav graph. So because this one or this item here are now basically acting as groups, they don't have the same ID, so therefore the UI is just like, nope, we don't have anything selected here. But what we can do is switch over to our activity here, and we get our navigation view right here, and we call setup nav controller, or setup with nav controller, passing in the nav controller here. So we can go ahead and just duplicate this line by Command D, and we can call a particular function on here. I believe it's like set checked item, and we want to give it the ID here that is to be checked. And so realistically, we are going to be looking for this ID in particular, so we could say r.id.characterListFragment. However, if we take a deeper look here at the nav graph, the reason that that is the start destination is because of this attribute that we've outlined here. So if for some reason we wanted to have them land on a different page, we would actually need to update this code if we were to do something like this. The character list fragment, we would need to go ahead in here and update this code if we change this nav graph to start at a different destination. So instead of actually, I guess, hard coding this value here, we can ask our nav controller for its graph, and then we can get the start destination ID. So this is basically a way to reference, oh, I thought it would deep link here, but it's a way to reference whatever ID we put in here. So the UI or this nav drawer will kind of react appropriately if for whatever reason we have a different starting point for our graph here. So running it again, nothing new here. This should all be the same, but when we open it, we do have the correct item already selected for us. And I actually found this out on the fly here. We seem to get this nice little selected background that doesn't seem to take up the entire width, and it kind of has this little padding and slightly rounded corners, and honestly, I think it looks fantastic. So again, all of this stuff, especially with the drawer layout, is a little bit new to me. I haven't implemented it in a while, so this is just turning out wonderfully. I am really enjoying how this UI is coming out, and so I hope you guys are as well. Let me know in the comments section what you think so far of this drawer layout implementation here. I think that's going to do it for right now, guys. I'm going to keep this one short, keep it simple, and I have an idea for another episode here that is also going to be a little short, where we're going to add in a little bit of a header view here to the nav graph, or sorry, to the drawer layout. It's a pretty popular thing, you know, if you're signed in, you'll kind of see like a little circle image view of your user image, and yeah, so if you've made it this far in the video, I'd really appreciate a like. If you are enjoying the content and notice you are not subscribed, please do subscribe so you don't miss out on what is to come, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day.